It's October 4th, 2024. I'm really excited about this. Been working on this now for 7 years, and it's not perfect, but it's way more than I expected. And this is most everything here is mature. There's a few plants that are still coming along, watering a couple. This is the front yard, and what was a pollinator garden project. It's coming along really well. So when I got here, there was all grass, and now I've put in 11 different pollinator gardens and 2 different food gardens. So this is the hell strip, as we call it here in Central Texas, and anything here has to live without water or care. I've cycled through several different plants in here, but there's only 3 that really blossom with no water, full sun. Prado Barbados doesn't need your help, doesn't want it. And the Esperanza. This is my own version of an Esperanza. I've been through several, maybe a dozen. This one right here has survived droughts and freezes with no care. It also flowers earlier and longer than all of the others. So all of the Esperanzas in my yard are from one cutting of these, and I've got several in Houston too, but this one just seems to be best. So I guess it's my own little version, I guess. I've tried some other plants over here. I see some Mexican bush sage, but it needs more care than what it's got here. Full sun doesn't really work. This is great. The Texas sage is my favorite. I love the silver contrast against the green, especially of the oak. I've got a desert willow in the middle there, right in the middle. Desert willow's doing okay. It's a very thin plant. You don't really notice it until it blooms, but yeah, it's doing okay. 2 different kinds of Texas sage here. We have an El Dorado and a Silverado. The El Dorado is more silver than the Silverado, whatever. I like the silver or the El Dorado better. It's more silver, which is what I wanted. Almost a white. White's really hard to come by, or to come about if you're gardening. These live oak trees, when I got here, were as big around as my thigh, the trunks. And now I can't even wrap my arms around this one. It's massive. The only thing I've done is I put coffee grounds on the compost here, and I cut it really high so that there's compost here decomposing, but all of the grass and stuff, or all of the horse herb or whatever, is really cut really high. So this is an escarpment live oak, and this is a live oak, and they grow different, as I was told, and you can certainly see it. This one here grows wide, the live oak grows wide, and this one grows tall and not as wide. You can just kind of see the growth pattern once it gets older. And the leaves are different too. These leaves are slightly different. Like these leaves on the escarpment are more pointy than the live oak leaves. They kind of have a point on them there. So, yeah. I sit under here quite often and work. That's what the bench is. So, Mexican bush sage. This is doing okay. It's designed to be a liner for the row, so a whole bunch here. Those are kind of immature right in the middle, but the rest of them, full sun, no water, no care. They do pretty well. You can see they're blooming right here. They seem to really like that spot. The chives, I plant these anywhere there's deer. Deer hate them. They won't even lay here. So deer used to sleep here in my yard when I first moved in. So I grew a bunch of chives from seed and I planted them all over my yard. And this is some of them. So I've got the tropical sage in plants, or in pots right now. I had this here because I wasn't even sure if I wanted to keep propagating it. So I just left it in pots to find out, well, look, all these butterflies, they do love the tropical sage. So of all the stuff that I have here, they do go to the tropical sage. Got to include more of that. This is a native. It's not commercially available. And it's not in bloom right now, but it is a wild petunia, cousin of the Mexican petunia. Grows like crazy, no care, needed, tough as nails. So I get them all and I throw them into a bed over here. And they do look really nice when they're in bloom. I don't know why it's not commercially available. Maybe because it's so thin. Plumbago here, another ground cover. I kind of had to reconceptualize my vision of ground cover. I think of ground cover as 6 inches tall. Plumbago is ground cover because the Bermuda is what you have to compete against. And as long as you've got a decent height, you can compete, and density, you can compete against the Bermuda. So here's something kind of cool. I let the yellow jackets live. I like the yellow jackets. Not only are they respectful, but they're fearful of giants, and they seem to be smarter than the red wasps. The red wasps come after me. They get territorial over my yard, especially the flame acanthus here. They get real territorial over this, and if I try and walk past it, there will be no nest in here, but they'll get up and come after me aggressively. So, yeah, I don't really like them there. There's another yellow jacket nest here. Big one here. Let's see if I can see it. There it is. And again, I let the wasps live as long as they don't mess with me. I don't mess with them. The red wasps mess with me, so I mess with them preemptively. It's like genocide. I don't like the red wasps, and they don't like me. And that's okay. They come into the flame acanthus, and I swat them with my racquetball racket. So, as you can see, there's not that many left because I take care of them. Moment of butterflies. That's what this garden is here for. It's beautiful. I just love all the butterflies that are here. I have noticed when there's fewer red wasps, there are more butterflies. I have definitely noticed a difference. Interesting, I walk past here all the time and they never mess with me. But see, if it was a red wasp, they'd be all over me right now. Standing cypress growing down there. You can kind of see it on the ground down there. It had a good show this year. Now it's grown in. These flame acanthus is what everything comes for. The hummingbirds, the wasps, everything comes to the flame acanthus. The hummingbirds defend it. So I have noticed that the hummingbirds are super territorial. If there's a hummingbird and he or she has the flame acanthus, and there's another bird around but in a different part of the garden, they won't be as territorial. But if there's a hummingbird on the flame acanthus, they go right for them and chase them out. This is one of my favorites, Jerusalem sage. One of the reasons I got into gardening, or got into hardy wildflower gardening, Xeriscape, was because of this girl. This Jerusalem sage is a really cool plant. It's fuzzy. Kind of smells like soap. Very fuzzy texture, but the flowers it puts off are just so cool. I love the flowers in the spring. One of the first things to flower. This love-hate relationship with this plant here. So this is fragrant mist flower, and the fragrant mist flower is just about to come into bloom. I actually don't like the fragrance of the fragrant mist flower. It's here just for butterflies, and I didn't know I didn't like the fragrance before I planted it. I put it close to the front door. I will say it's super hardy. It doesn't require a lot of care. I have it in a sunshade environment, so it gets probably 8 hours of sun a day, but you can kind of see it's filtered a little bit. On this side, well, actually not right now, it's not. It's kind of morning time. But just don't like the smell of that plant. Whatever it is, what it is. Gosh, I'm just really disappointed with these Mexican mint marigolds. I thought they'd be more hardy. Again, another pathliner here. More of the husky esperanzas. These guys, girl plants, whatever, grow excellent. They bloom all year long. They get some height to them eventually. They are slow to get height, but they do get height towards the end of the year. And you can see they're probably 9 feet tall right now. I don't think they're quite 10 feet. And still blooming. They've been blooming since June. I mean, just crazy blooms. Unlike the others that sometimes don't bloom until August. Pride of Barbados here. I just love this combo of the Esperanza and Pride of Barbados. Great combo. Succulent pot. I let the succulents grow wild here. Just throw them in there and whatever works. And I don't know what happened to this one. Maybe it got nuked in the freeze. I don't know. I don't cover them typically. Greg's Mist Flower. This is the #1 plant that the hummingbirds, or not hummingbirds, the butterflies and moths and other insects they're looking for. It's not the number one for hummingbirds, but I do see them on it. Yeah, pretty tough as nails plant. Doesn't grow very tall. If you're growing it by itself, it definitely needs help because things can outcompete it. You see, it's not a uniform height. It's only about 18 inches tall. So you have to help this along. It won't survive just on its own. In terms of weeding, in terms of water, you put it in the right sunshine, this thing's unbeatable. I do have some milkweed over here that I'm going to relocate this year. I'm going to create a milkweed garden. I had an irrigated space over there that I decided to not use for what I created it for. So I'm going to take the milkweeds out of here and put them in a milkweed specific garden. This thing here, Arizona cypress, my goodness. I have never given this thing any care, never given it water, not even during the toughest drought. It's been a volunteer, and I don't know how long it's been here, maybe 5 or 6 years. It grows super slow, but my goodness, it's a beautiful contrast. And if it's going to keep growing with no care, I'm going to let it. It's in a good spot there, so I'll let it grow there. Absolutely. That's kind of the view as you're walking in. This is a tree root I got from the Onion Creek river. Onion Creek, whatever. This is growing in. Ugh, that's ugly. Whatever. I had to shear it back, and it grows so slow. I hope it grows in sooner than later. I just need leaves. That's it. No, nothing else. Just leaves. The bamboo muley and the native poinsettia are mixing pretty well here. I kind of like that mix. It's different and it's kind of cool. I like that. Definitely unique. That's a native poinsettia. I don't think it's commercially available. It is, I would consider it aggressive. I have it in here. It's enclosed in concrete all the way around, so it's harder for it to get out, but it still gets out. I find it all over the yard, and I definitely do not let it bloom because it is super aggressive. I planted one back here, and now this area is full of them, which is fine. That's what I wanted, but I wanted to keep it in here. So it's a good mix. I kind of like that, along with the succulents especially. Succulents look okay. I mean, they're all right, whatever. Let's see. That is the Japanese boxwood. I think it's a Japanese boxwood. A couple of ferns that Shauna likes. It's our entryway there. Trim those back. Here's what I really want to grow, though. I'm really hoping those will grow. These were planted from seed by Crystal, a friend of mine who's no longer with us. And here's another one. All of the small mountain laurels here were planted by seed from Crystal. You'll also see my motion detector water sprinkler, and that thing is awesome. It really helps keep away the deer. Yeah, so hopefully, I'm not sure if we'll have this house long enough to chop the photinias and let the mountain laurels grow in. I'm just not sure if we'll have it long enough, but that would be the ultimate goal. Turning back around to this. 3 sabal minors, dwarf palmettos here. Really like this plant, and this one I just cannot get to catch for some reason. I guess I need to give it some more TLC or get it out of there, but I just can't get it to catch behind there. Maybe we don't need a third. Maybe we just need 2. But this tree is here, and I put this on top of my dog's grave so that no one would ever dig him up. So yeah, he is a family favorite. And as I'm looking at this right now, I'm pretty stunned. I think this has grown about 3 feet in the last summer. Wow. I'll have to go back and compare that video. That top branch up there, that one is really stretching. And all of that growth is new. Holy wow, that's crazy. cool. Bird bath is, literally on top of this grave, but it's also where we put Rocky's ashes, and it just kind of marks it. I need to level that. It's, things kind of, dirt once it's dug up kind of compresses, and that's what's happened there. I only will water plants so much, and then after a certain period of time I stop. I watered these for 3 years, which was a year longer than I wanted to, and they still can't hack it, so I might have to get rid of them. The black and blue sage. The black and blue sage is a cultivar. You can only get it if you have a black and blue sage, because it's a majestic sage that just has a unique color to it, but it's a very fragile plant. I mean, it needs more care, more water. I've even had it in Houston thinking, great water, but it doesn't do well there either. So it's a pretty fragile plant. I think it just needs more. The look I'm going for is I want one of these over here, maybe one here too. That's kind of what I was going for in through here. Shade this tree's roots and just kind of create a nice tranquil environment here. But I guess I gotta spend some more TLC because it's looking pretty hurting right now. Here I'm gonna put more fragrant mist flower. Bam, bam, a couple more here. And that's just to fill the space. It looks really good. I don't really like the smell, but it does really attract a couple of different kinds of butterflies that only go to that plant. When you watch them, they'll fly in, bypass everything, go to this plant, spend a lot of time here, and then fly away. They don't go to anything else, so I gotta have it if I want a pollinator garden. Standing cypress coming up. That standing cypress is going to have a nice little grove to it next year. 5 of them there, I guess. Like that. 4 or 5 or something. Is there a 5th one in the frame? There it is. Plumbago. I love this stuff. Really, really. South African plant is adapted to Austin area. And you do have to give it water the first year to get it going. You really do. That's what this hose is here for. I've got 3. This is their first year here. First summer. I planted them last October. So just getting them through their first summer. And you do. The first year you need to water them. But after the first year, I don't water these. And I never water them. Look at that. It's just crazy. They bloom a lot. I love the look. And I learned this position of planting, specifically this position, from the Texas State University gardener, Becky Crunk. And she told me that if you put them on the south side of an oak tree, southeast side or southwest side, so that they get a little bit of morning sun, they can turn on in the morning, and then they get time to turn off. They really like it. And she was right. This plant likes a little bit of morning sun, turn on, and then turn it off. These plumbagos bloom longer than any plumbagos I know. They're more carefree, and I think it's because of her tip. I have other plumbagos in the yard, and they don't bloom like this. They're not this full. It's something to do with the morning sun and turning off. She was exactly right. Love this plant. Most of these plants here, like as you look around this landscape, I didn't pay for many of these. Most of these, I'd get 1 of them or 2 of them, 3 of them, and then propagate. Here, Jerusalem sage. There's only 2 of them, and then I just put branches down, and now there's 5 or 6 of them there. The Salvia greggii, I got 3 of them from a neighbor and propagated. Now there's like 11 of them there. So most of these I propagate. Well, this one I couldn't. This plant only grows 3 to 4 inches a year. 6 inches would be a really good year. And it is a Yucca rostrata. It is, this one's super old. I think I calculated the age to be more than 30 years old. So it's almost as old as I am. But if I wanted a decent sized Yucca rostrata, then I had to buy it and put it in. Now, when I bought this Yucca rostrata, to put it into perspective, you can see where it kind of V's there. I bought it before the V. I bought it. It was down here in this area. And then 2 years after I bought it, maybe 3 years after I bought it, it V'd like that. So I was lucky enough to get a very unique one. And I paid, I think, $350 for that, I think is what I paid. I thought about getting a small one, but I really wanted a big one. And since I never spend any money, I spend pretty much my entire seasonal budget plus some on this plant. So whatever, it is what it is. I like it. It's a really cool looking plant. I like the silver. I spent a lot of time at the nursery doing this to find out. I wanted to find the one that would not hurt if you bumped it, because I walk around a lot at night. And I can see there's a lot of aphids on this. Looks like I need to get in there and get after it tonight. American Beautyberry and some chili patines. The chili patines are going to be relocated. This is a great spot for them, but it's also a good spot for the American Beautyberry, and I like this in this spot. So I've got a bunch of I've got volunteer beautyberry and another volunteer beautyberry over here. So I'm going to move the Texas Betony, and I'm going to move the chili patines. I'm going to seed this garden to the beautyberry, which is fine with me, and move the chili patines, which means I'm going to move this too. I don't need that here anymore. That was only here to guard the chili patines. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Two more mountain laurels planted from crystal by seed several years ago. And damn, these things grow slow. They probably grew 8 inches this year. I mean, seriously, they're 18 inches tall, and they probably grew 8 inches this year. I think this is year 4. I'm just waiting for a leap. I think it's going to be this spring. I think this spring they're going to leap. My goodness, they're so growing so slow. And it is the shade. Right there, they're in almost full shade. So they only get about an hour of sun a day. So there's that. I thought this would do better here, because when I run, these guys are almost in full shade. They're in an area where they get morning sun and even afternoon sun, but not so much. This plant is hurting. It's always been hurting. I was hoping it would catch, but it is not. So it's just designed to be a deterrent for people coming to this window, but it does not like it here. I mean, I bought it, it was that big when I bought it. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I got to do something with it. So yeah. This is a screen, another way to put it, visual screen. And I wanted to vary the things that were in the visual screen. So this one's going to help me vary it. There is a sumac growing right there, and I'm going to let it. That's a great spot for it. Thicken that up a little bit. Yopon. This Yopon holly has been the bane of my existence. I bought this plant, was one of the first plants I bought in this garden, and because I knew it was going to be slow growing, and it, not only is it slow growing, this plant fell over. It literally fell over. So it grew 3 feet, and I was excited to see it grow higher, and it fell over. So then it started from scratch. So it started again from here. Now it's 6-7 feet tall. My goodness, this plant is like probably 10 years old. It's 7 feet tall. I was really hoping for that growth 5 years ago, but whatever it is, what it is, it's going to be nice and thick and very sturdy now that it has this big anchor, I guess you'd call it, right there down at the bottom. But seriously, I mean, it's just super frustrating. So many times I wanted to kill this thing. But, it's out of the way, and I just let it go. I don't ever water it. Maybe once a year. If I'm over here watering stuff, I'll do, but love-hate relationship with this plant. It's still not where I want it, and it was supposed to happen 5 years ago, whatever. This is Eve's necklace, and, sometimes you buy plants, you don't understand their culture. If I'm looking at this plant, to me, it looks like a plant that is supposed to grow through a shrub. So you can see how thin it is, and it has no strength to it at all. And you see how it's just not thickening up. So to me, I'm thinking in the wild, there's a shrub here, and this would grow up through it. That way it doesn't have to worry about having strength. That's what I think. So this is Eve's necklace. It's a cousin of the mountain laurel, and it is a very interesting tree. So two plants over here, super disappointed with. These are the first plants I've actually been happy with over here. I mean, my goodness. Put a sporum and just trying to get them growing. Right now they're about 5 feet tall. This one's growing wide, this one's growing tall, and they're thick. They're just now touching, which is solid, and producing a little bit. You know, this, I just ripped this out of the ground and it had quite a big root attached to it. So I thought, might be able to get this to grow. I've tried to kill this thing 4 times and it just keeps coming back. So it's got to be pretty hardy. So I planted it here. I'm going to get it through the summer and just let it grow. If it grows, great. If it doesn't, great. But it could be I cannot remember the name. Xylosma. Leaves there, I think, are kind of, I can't remember. Xylosma, maybe. Same thing here, Pittosporum. This is the second one I had here. First one I had here, someone stepped on it. You could literally see footprints on it. So I was pretty disappointed with that. Had a discussion with the neighbors and asked them, you know, please don't let anyone walk on it. Put another one here. And I had to go away for a couple of weeks. I think someone died. And when I came back, there was 1 leaf left on this. So, you know, 3, again, more disappointment on this side. This plant has been here for like 4 or 5 years. And it should be that big. It's that big because it almost died 1 year. So I literally nursed it back from, I think there were 3 to 5 leaves left on it. This is the 3rd year it's looked like this. I mean, just grow already. You're supposed to be a screen. This totally sucks. But neighbors walk on shit. They don't pay attention. So it is what it is. The yard looks pretty good. All the butterflies, I don't know if you can see the butterflies flying through. Just beautiful. Really proud of this. This took me 7 years. And October and March, my schedule was full for 7 years because of this thing. And it's worked out better than I could have hoped. And look at that, that's beautiful. Isn't it? I think it's pretty. Let's see if I can take